favourite thing on the menu right now?
Oh.
Is it something to do with these lovely beans?
I mean, the beans are sort of for development. The beans are not on the menu yet.
Right.
These are work in progress beans.
Yeah.
I know what my favourite thing is. The thing that I have to, there's 3 things that I can't not order.
Oh yeah, come on, tell me, because I like it all. People always ask me on the menu what recommend. I'm like,
and you're like, well, I put it on the menu, so it means I absolutely love everything on it.
So I have to order the Gilder.
Yeah.
I have to order the bread with the dripping. It is just, that's my favourite dish in the whole of London right now.
What's special about the Gilder? Because Gilders are having a real moment right now. What's the twist on the Gilder here?
Shiso leaf, pickled mackerel, cucumber, and chili. But we thought a lot about Gilders, because obviously that's not.
Just went,
do you want one?
Squirting in my mouth.
Emergency Gilder. Bring it to the table right now. Stevie, can you tell me a little bit about town, about the concept behind it?
We got the cows before we got the restaurant.
Got the cows before you got the restaurant?
We got the cows before so really we had to build the restaurant.
For the cows?
Because we had the cows.
Okay, tell me about the cows.
The cows are on Andy Cato's farm.
Okay.
Wild Farm.
Wild Farm. Obviously, Andy was Groove Armada, now he's Britain's most important farmer.
We need to speak to Andy, actually. That's a good one.
The music
really good one.
Is strong.
Really good one. Really good one. And he has this regenerative project of growing wheat, and we're integrating cows into that project, which actually helps the wheat farmers a lot. It increases yield, increases biodiversity.
It's all part of the system.
Exactly. It's quite a different style of beef. It's 100% grass, which means it's delicate tasting. You know, people are used to that rich, sort of fatty, grain-fed. But once you feed the cows some grain, it changes a lot. You know, so the nutrition changes. The omega-3 drops massively. Apparently, we're all omega-3 deficient, so you've got to eat 100% grass-fed beef at town.
The cocktail menu here was made in collaboration with Satan's Whiskers at one of London's very best cocktail bars. Tell me how that all came about.
The cocktails are unbelievable.
Right, yes.
I mean, and I can say that like that because I've had nothing to do with them. But so Kevin Satan's Whiskers is London's best bartender.
So did you know those guys before? What was the, or were you like, I know these cocktails are good, I'm gonna...
So my business partner, Jonathan Downey, worked with him a lot.
Okay.
And, you know, he's been around like we have.
And if someone is coming in for one cocktail, they've had a terrible day, it's 8 p.m, they don't want to go home, what one drink should they order?
I mean, we've got these 3 little martinis that
one
really
drink, but you're like, it's 3 martinis, that's what you should have.
And you should have all of them.
Okay, fantastic.
I go for a grapefruit charger. So a charger is a new category of drink that Kev has invented. So almost like a sharpener, like a spritz.
Okay.
Small, quite low ABV.
Charger.
It's a charger.
Okay. Low ABV. Okay.
Lowish.
So maybe have a couple.
You can have a couple, yeah. And the martinis are very small, you know.
But powerful.
So 3 is the right number. They do the trick.
I want a martini now.
It's almost time. Thank you both, Rose.
Such a pleasure.
Graham, coming on my show, Messy Lunch.
Right.
Do you like
Great, it's very nice.
Well, first of all, tell me about who you are.
Who am I?
Who are you?
Who are you?
What are you doing?
I'm your old mate from about 10 years ago, who used to be your sort of companion in life.
Yeah, like literally
for
life
about
partner.
6 years. And I've got the scars to prove it.
And I mean, essentially, Rose works for me, didn't she? And because Rose is a musician, I feel like first and foremost,
I've always been a musician.
Yeah.
Being a musician means you never make any money, so I needed another job. And Gizzi, you sort of swooped in and like took over my life for like 6 years. But it was great. We had a real hoot.
We did have a good time. But this is definitely not our first Messy Lunch.
No, it certainly isn't.
Yeah, and then you suddenly started to exist in my life and stole her from me.
Never forgiven.
And never forgiven.
I swooped in.
You swooped in and took my best friend away. Hi! Oh my God.
Start you off with some drinks?
Yes,
We
please.
love that.
Oh yeah, that's
What do you want?
A naked flame, please. A naked flame.
And could I have a direct olive, please?
And I'm just going to get the classic, please.
Lovely,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, bloody gasping. Well, we sort of accidentally formed a band after bumping into each other at a charity gig in 2020. It was meant to be just like, I got a bit pissed at the end of this gig and was like, do you want to write a song with me? And then thinking that we might just write one song for a record I was about to start work on, and then ended up just sort of cascading into this thing where we just suddenly wrote all this music, and we thought we should maybe make a full album, and then so it became like a full band, and then we had a bloody baby. So yeah, we were in a band called the Waeve, and we're currently working on our third album. So that's. And what do you have?
I didn't know. I just thought when you said should we write a song or is that what you said? A song? I can't really. It was always in my mind to write a few, see where it all ended up. I don't know. But you know, Rose is very easy to love.
Isn't she?
We definitely meet musically in quite a few points, but then there was bits missing for me that she knew a lot more about, and stuff that she didn't know much about that I kind of knew, which we all sort of poured into the music that we made. So there's a lot of references or a lot of influences in the music that come from all over the place in a lot of ways, don't they?
The heady brew.
It's a heady brew. When we were working and making music, that it just did its own thing. We didn't seem to have much control over it.
Yeah.
So before we knew it, we had sort of
a baby.
very small, well, a baby and several more songs and an album, and we're now thinking about what we might call our band.
But Rose was also, you were in the Pipettes. There was such a band of like the early sort of indie sleaze sort of generation. They were huge. I probably can do all the dance moves still.
Yeah.
I used to make you do it in my kitchen a lot. But you know, like that was kind of how I imagined you. And then you're actually a very serious musician.
Very serious.
Right, so
Let's
the
get
menu.
some food.
You have been before, Rose.
I have.
Graham, you haven't. So it's nice to have you. I'm going to let you guys choose because the point is...
Which is a very novel concept for me, going for dinner with Gizzi where I'm allowed to choose my own food.
What would you order and why? Let's start at the snacks.
I love a Gilder, so I wouldn't mind a couple of those.
Yep.
That's on offer.
I love that Gilders have become
Yeah, it's
so
really
popular.
nice. You like that kind of salty business as well.
I love salty business.
So like salty, hot, tangy.
Soused mackerel. Soused meaning?
It means pickled.
Pickled.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love anything pickled.
I mean, I'd love to try that pork, but I know that we ought to probably get some beef.
I mean, we could go for both. I mean,
Yeah.
I would maybe say that that's a nice plan.
I mean, I've had a very good experience with lobster once, and I think that was possibly my first posh bit of food.
Oh, well, in that case, we should get lobster.
Yeah. I think we're ready.
Do you want to order?
Okay.
I want to talk about working for me.
Okay.
Because I feel
Sure.
like, I know, and Paul Graham has probably had to manage the other side of this, but it must have been fairly traumatic.
I mean, it had its moments, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, do you want some memories?
Yes, give me some memories.
I mean, I think like one that really was like when I realised like what I'd signed up for was in about like 2 months of starting to work for you. There was that charity dinner,
God.
and you and Jamie had like a big bust up, and it was like a sort of 4-course meal for like a load of chefs, including Angela Hartnett, and like all these like big wigs at this mansion in Maida Vale, and I had to make like like salted rosemary caramel tart and make.
Oh my
all
God,
the...
just in time.
Thank God. Thank you.
I guess,
And like, bear in mind, like I had like zero cooking.
yeah, it was probably like the
experience.
4th week you'd worked.
Yeah,
if I
pretty
remember
much.
rightly.
And like,
Oh my God.
I remember having to make this pastry like 3 times with
Cheers,
like
guys. I'm
tears.
sure
Cheers.
this might be a down in
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing.
Cheers.
But then actually one thing that I felt really proud of is that Angela Hartnett came up to me afterwards, and I think she'd heard a little bit about like the debacle. She was like, that was perfect pastry, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was like a massive
See,
win.
it was all for you. It was
Yeah,
all
I
for
know,
that.
it was really what I needed. Yeah, anyway, we'll talk.
Anyway, the good time. They were
Yeah.
good days.
Still, mate.
Still mates.
Sorry, that was a bit of an aggressive slap.
No, fair enough. I'd probably punched me in the head as fine. Anyway, I can't understand why you left the job, frankly.
I don't know.
No, but you left because you're, you know, you got to do the dream job, which
Yeah.
was make some music.
yeah.
And you picked up a mad hottie in the process.
This way.
That's you.
Oh.
Yeah, not mad.
I thought you were
boy.
talking about something that was in the oven.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions about how you perceive food, the restaurant scene. Obviously, you're musicians. I feel like my set two, and the reason that I wanted to do this show Messy Lunch, was because I wanted to speak to musicians, because I feel like they've been such a massive part of my life, and I don't believe that there's quite a sort of like limited idea that people in music don't like to eat, and I know that that's rubbish.
It's not true.
And there's so much opportunity to eat really amazing food. So.
And to eat terrible food.
And to eat terrible food. That's
which I
very
prefer.
true.
Not really.
Service, please.
Right, what is the best meal out you've had in London, full stop? And because I'm talking to both of you, but I'm
Outside of London.
Inside.
in London.
Inside. Well, the thing that I've never been a foodie person. I didn't mind eating, but I could probably live on cheese and pickle sandwiches. You know,
Do love a
kind
cheese
of
and pickle
crazy.
sandwich.
But,
That's a great shout. I've not had one of those for about 10 years.
I still have them every now and then.
Oof, delicious.
And but I think I went to Claridge's once, and I was with a Rialta friend of mine, and I ordered this lobster ravioli. And I just thought, okay.
Sort of understood what it's all about.
It was so lovely.
Yeah, it suddenly defines what your taste buds flourish. And
It was a completely different experience to cheese and pickle sandwiches and ginsters.
Can you imagine?
And packets of dried meat that have no sell-by date. You know, that will still be there, edible in a million years.
Okay, like we've got our food.
Few.
Ready for that. I mean, I think we should start with the Gilder.
Yeah.
Gilders.
100%.
Cheers.
Wonderful.
It's like I feel like it's like on guard.
Yeah.
So
On
this is
guard.
the soused
Go shove it all in.
mackerel.
Yum.
Should have probably explained what a Gilder is.
We shoved it in.
That's really lovely.
Gilders like raised in popularity because of San Sebastian. In San Sebastian, it's one of the most classic tapas. What it generally is all the salty stuff you love, like an olive, some anchovies, a boccaroni. So you can have the salty anchovy and a pickly one, and then one of the guindilla chilies. But clever people are modernising it, doing fun things. And with this one, Stevie's got soused mackerel and a shisho leaf, which is just kind of like this Japanese sesame leaf, which kind of gives you the after flood of like mad flavour, basically. What are we feeling?
Delicious.
I love that. I love pickled fish. I love pickled herring. I love all of that stuff.
I grew up on pickled herring as well. And actually, one of my skincare secrets is always boccaronis. We always have boccaronis in the house, and it's like, I'm like a seal. It's like,
I'm like, I like
hello.
it. Hello,
This is good,
testing,
this is good.
testing. Do you know why a Gilder is called a Gilder?
No, I actually don't.
There was the film with Rita Hayworth called Gilder.
I thought that might be.
Yeah, and apparently she was in San Sebastian in the late 40s, early 50s, and went to a Pincho's bar. And they were like, oh my God, look at this beautiful woman. We have to make her the perfect Pincho. And they made her the Gilder.
And it is the
And
perfect
they were
Pincho.
like, yeah.
There is nothing better.
Why-
That's done.
Fantastic fact.
How amazing. Why didn't they try and make the perfect one anyway?
For anyone. She was so fit.
She was.
They had to make
Come
her
on, let's be
the
honest.
perfect Pincho.
Yeah, she
and then when
deserves
someone
it.
else comes in, they're like,
Fair
not
enough.
good looking enough for a Pincho.
That's funny.
Wow.
I want to get in this.
They
Yeah,
are
I mean,
good.
this, to be honest with you, I was looking at this and I'm up for it, but this is, and I'm not joking, this is
like you on a plate, really.
I mean, it really is. And I don't know why
Although
I'm...
you're not that interested
feeling-
in bread like I am.
Yeah, you love the bread, I
love
just
the
could
bread.
drink the gravy. So this is just basically beef fatted bread. I don't know why I'm like breaking it up for you, but...
You're breaking bread.
Breaking the
Jesus.
bread.
Do it. Serve
Rescue
us
my
up.
children. And then you just got to shove it in the juice.
So what happens with it? Why is it beef fatted?
Beef fat. Well, basically, it's dripping. So the dripping is the
my
beef fat
God.
that kind of comes off.
That's
They'll prob-
so good.
The dripping, yeah. I
It's
know.
so,
That's so nice.
Genuinely my favourite dish in London at the moment.
Yeah, I 100% concur.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that you're in a posh restaurant, and if you can somehow manage to speak to people's
So
souls.
like emotional.
Yeah. Because it does feel emotional,
Yeah, it
actually,
is.
doesn't it?
Well, there was a point where it seemed that working class food became something to celebrate and sort of develop. Wasn't that?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's a constantly moving thing. I definitely think restaurants have acknowledged that there's something in the sort of emotional
and like
way
sensuality about food.
Sensuality,
really
exactly.
Yeah, it is emotional.
I feel like we need more of the gravy.
You always want more gravy.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Dipping this into nothing.
Yeah,
It's all gone.
It's all gone. That was probably me. I was like soaking my bit up.
That's really good.
Here we go.
Look
That's
out,
for you.
it's-
Here we
looks
go.
lovely.
Leonie.
Blimey, that is so drinkable.
It's absolutely, it's a dangerous situation.
It's supposed to be, isn't it?
No, I know,
No,
but
but
you
this
know
is
when
something
like
else.
wine is just like goes down a tree.
Yeah. Graham, like when you first started, Blur was your first big band?
Yeah, not my first band necessarily. I was in loads of
Little
funny
fun teenage
groups in
ones.
Colchester.
Yeah.
But David and I knew each other quite earlier on, and eventually found each other again well, not found each other, we were always in touch, but in London, yeah. So Blur was the first thing we formed.
But did you ever have a hospitality job? Have you ever worked in hospitality or done any like silver service?
I've been and
or
worked on a
waiting?
pea picking farm. That's about it, pea picking.
Pea picking?
I worked in a pea picking farm.
Ironically, I was pea picking earlier.
You pea
I'm not
picking.
joking.
I've been a roofer, so no.
Yeah, no, so never hospitality.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you've lucked out.
Oh, no, I worked in a burger restaurant for a small time
There we go.
and was sacked.
Yeah.
I just wasn't cut out for it.
No.
It's not for you.
No.
I can
It's
tell
not
you
for
that
me.
without any doubt.
Whereas you have had several hospitality jobs,
Yeah,
right?
well,
not
I've done
just
a lot
doing
of
it,
bar work. I've worked in a lot of pubs.
I kind of feel like, no, because there's no nice way of saying this, but when I think of like you running a pub, eventually, I really see.
I do have-
Actually, you might have to fight Leonie for this, because both of you have a very similar...
I do have like a sort
Landlady energy.
of landlady energy.
Yeah, I think I could really hang in there with that, especially in my leopard print. But I do have like a plan for like a pub which I call the Oblivion, which would basically be me like with a gin and tonic in a wine glass with no ice or lemon, just sat at a horrible old piano playing songs from the shows and like shouting at people how I was going to be a star.
I can see
And I feel
Leonie's chomping at the bit.
I feel
She's
like,
there.
I feel like that's a role I could like properly fulfill. But I also, having like working with you, I've sort of seen like either side of like the industry, and I just think it's like the most stressful. It's so terrifying, like just engaging in working in a restaurant,
I mean,
or opening
I've
a
got-
restaurant or a bar.
I've got to
just
say
like hell
though,
on wheels.
there is a part of like I got so much credit for a lot of the stuff I've done, but I haven't done anything in my life that was a success without you, and that's the truth. So every time I opened a restaurant, you were my co-pilot. You were in it, and a lot of people don't realise that there's somebody, there's a lot of
You
people
always have to
involved
have
in
people,
this.
but I'm going to have a radish. Sorry.
Yeah, no, have a radish.
too.
So this is with Homnipods, which is like a local small producer that works with small grains, and this is their miso that they make out of.
delicious.
I can't remember what they make it out of, but it's a really good miso. To get back to the questions, what is the best meal you've been out for recently in London?
Sorry, what a mouthful. One place that is really good is the De Garçon, which is so nice.
It's good because it's got that really what you imagine a French restaurant should be like.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
the
quite
dream
dark
French
and fun,
bistro.
but it's kind of just friendly in all of those ways.
Yeah,
The
it's
food
just
is
like a kind of
food is mental. It's a bit
And it's
like
just like a proper experience.
I've never eaten anything like that wasn't just divine in a way.
Yeah.
So, you said your first experience in London was at Claridge's, right?
That was marriages, I think.
Yes, and lobster ravioli. Do you have a defining memory of a London restaurant that made you go, you know what, that's changed my life? That's the moment.
Well, I can't really remember many of them because most of them have been with you.
I remember one time when I had a fish and the promoter was sat next to me and he had the same fish, and I saw him pluck the eyeball out and put it into his mouth.
Oh!
And so I thought, well,
That's what I've got to do.
I'll do the same. So I put it in my mouth and I began to chew it. It was like a little ball of blue tack, like that. And then I thought, God, I'm going to swallow this. And as soon as I swallowed it, he took his out of his mouth and put it back into the fish's face, into the eye socket.
like a white ball.
I think
and
he
you're
was
like,
It was a
winding
stitch
me
up.
okay, so we are talking about the London restaurant scene.
Yeah.
What is your do you think that there's a restaurant that's unknown that you sort of want to gatekeep?
Well, actually, like one place that you took me to was like Roti King. But I always think of it every time I go to Euston Station, and I'm just like, there's not enough time before we get on the train. But I like that Roti Chennai. I think about all the time. It's like my dream. Oh, lovely.
Oh, well, this is the crab.
This is the crab for you.
Delicious.
Lovely.
So
Shall we?
have the crab, which with some beastie-sized tomatoes. Go.
You do it.
No, you
No,
do
this
it.
is your job.
Oh, come on. Right. Okay. So this is.
Normally you just serve everyone with your hands. I've been in a place where you've just gone,
Do
right,
you know
that's
what?
yours, that's yours.
Right. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Leonie.
This is all,
Do you remember-
this is all
do you
lovely,
remember-
but there are so many questions on this card that we haven't got to yet. We're supposed to be talking about restaurants in London,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
which you have very briefly.
Yes. Okay. Come
But
on.
you could do more. You
Okay,
could do
come on.
more.
Okay.
You could- yeah. You got this.
So yes, is there anywhere that you like secretly go? You know, when I ask this question, it doesn't have to be like an
Well,
intellectual
I'm fond
answer.
of toffs.
That sounds funny.
Muswell Hill.
Toffs in Muswell Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep threatening to take me there for a sit-down meal. So
I
I
know.
don't want to have a sit-down fish and chips. It's depressing.
Oh, why didn't you just tell me? Because I'm still wanting to do it.
No, I will do
You
it.
should have just told me 3 years ago that you didn't want to do it. And then I wouldn't be still trying to arrange it.
I love a local restaurant.
It's really sad that Banner's shut down.
Yeah, Banners
I can't
was great. I
believe
love
that.
I
Banners.
know, that's Bob Dylan went there. It's
That's
true.
very you.
No, but
That's
I
a
just
very
think
you
that's
fact.
really.
Bob
But
Dylan
what was
did
the
go
whole
there.
story?
He's still there on the side of it
But
in paint
didn't he
form.
go there because he got the address wrong for something?
He
No,
thought
he-
it was
he-
Dave Stewart. No, something to do with Dave Stewart. Someone went to
Something like that. He went to the wrong Dave
Yeah.
Stewart or...
He was looking for Dave, what, from the Eurythmics?
Yeah.
What?
Why are you ever looking for him?
But yeah, and he dropped into Banners.
And it's got
But-
there's a little plaque on the table that he sat on. There's a
Yeah.
little gold plaque saying
And a
Bob
painting
sat
of him
here
on the side. There's a
1992.
mural on the side. But I saw Bob Dylan having a pint of Guinness outside the store, Camden Stores pub, sitting there with his like top hat on.
A top hat?
Yeah.
I don't like the top hat face for Bob Dylan.
Well,
The next question is, what was the most chaotic dinner you've ever had? Who was it with? Name and
You. Always you. Every time. I'm sorry, I can't help it. You've asked me onto this bloody show of yours. What do you expect?
Okay, what will you never order in a restaurant?
Brains or lungs.
Ooh,
I don't want any.
I
I'm really
love a little pan.
Come, so me and
And I
Leonie-
don't like sweetbreads as much as you keep trying to make me have them.
Oh, Matt's the same.
I just
Sweetbreads,
don't
no.
want them.
They're
I
my
don't want
favourite.
lymph nodes.
Brains,
They're too
yes.
soft.
I was in the French house the other night and we had these lovely pan-fried brains.
I love it.
And we were there with 7 people and only me and one other person
I want to
wanted
be
brains.
that.
We spent more brains
I
for
think
me.
it's really great and cool, and I'm really jealous of people that actively enjoy it. But
Does
I
it
just
actually
don't-
make you
I just can't
kind of
get it.
heave
I
a little
don't want
bit?
it. I
Okay.
don't want it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the softness
If you
of
ate it and somebody didn't tell you what it was, do you think you'd
Well, I have
maybe-
done because I've been out with her a billion times, being like,
look, and you were like, what's this? It's delicious.
Yeah, it's not
I,
lymph
still,
node.
I knew there was something wrong. I can't do
But
it.
did you like it for a little?
Not really.
Okay. Fair enough.
I was in a brasserie in Paris, you know, doing a bit of press, knocking off for lunch. And I thought, yeah, I'd like a bit of a sausage. I'd like
look
a
at
bit
that.
of sausage. And the waiter was
bit of
like,
sausage.
you will not like it. And I was like, come on, just have it, because you won't like it.
Yeah,
And I had 2 bits, and then I went for my 3rd bit, and my body would just not let me swallow anymore.
What did that look like?
It was just like,
Thank you so much.
I was just
That's
really
so nice.
trying hard to
Like
swallow,
regurgitate.
and my body was just like, no.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've just been given. So this is
Wow.
the wild farmed beef, the ribeye, which is Stevie's had dibs on for yonks. So this is going to be really extraordinary. Some of the best grown beef in the country. We have a lobster with lardo, and do you know what an exile sauce is?
Alexile.
Yeah, kind
Exo.
of. Exo.
Exo.
Exo
No.
sauce. It's a sort of reduction of like, often it's got both pork and prawns or some kind of seafood. It's kind of cooked down until it's like becomes such pure umami with shallots, chili, ginger, garlic.
Oh, lovely.
It depends where you're from, what the sort of concentration and the different flavours are, but it tends to be one of the most powerful punch of flavour.
Great.
So
Let's tuck in.
Let's tuck in. So
talk to us about this
Yeah.
piece of thing.
So it's basically a beautiful piece of steak, but regeneratively grown. Ribeye, which is the best cut of steak as far as I'm concerned, but also gravy, the same sauce that we had.
Gravy.
You love gravy, don't you, Graham?
Well, what is it, and why do people not make much of an effort with it?
I mean,
Not in your life.
A lot of people don't.
you're like, excuse
Yeah, but you're
me.
people
who know and get
who are
it.
into food or obsessed with food, maybe even.
Because it's like the
So what is
it's
it?
Like
What is it?
It's like
And how to make a good
because
one.
it condenses like all the best things about eating. It's like umami and like.
Yeah. I think it's quite. Could you take another one? It's primal, right? So you make
Yeah.
gravy out of bones. That's the truth. Gravy is made from boiling down bones. And thank you, darling.
Okay.
And you know, it's amazing if you even just the difference between roasting a bone versus just like boiling a bone. You know, that's kind of like if you think of a pho or a soup, but you roast the bones in gravy, and but when you roast a bone and you cook it down in red wine and more bone stock, you know, it then reduces down to this delicious sauce.
And what's the difference between that and a jus?
Well, a jus is probably, this is more like
You
a
see,
jus.
I'm a bit thick when it comes to it.
No, because I think a lot of people ask that question. A gravy tends to be slightly, you cook out the beef dripping with a tiny bit of flour and then you use the beef stock. And the reason a lot of people get it wrong is because we're so used to gravy granules, which are thickening but also have flavour. And some people use an oxo cube or some stock in that. But as far as I'm concerned, you're never going to get the flavour for gravy unless you actually cook down those bones and you cook out that bone marrow. And you get, let's all just finger our food for a second. But that's sticky, right? Look, if you that's now a sticky
My worst
thing.
thing, mouthfeel. I hate it when people talk about, but it is real.
Yeah, it's
The
a really,
mouthfeel.
but it's real.
Disgusting.
And that's because there's so much gelatin and collagen in our meat and particularly in the bones, and it comes out. It's so good for you.
That's why your face looks so nice.
Yeah, it's why my face looks. I don't deserve this.
No, you bloody don't.
But
Chugging gravy every 5 minutes.
gravy and boccherones.
Yeah.
I'm stealing some.
Yeah,
I
get
feel
involved.
like I
You
want
might
to
have
give this
to
to you.
intro
but I
me
might-
into the ways
Here
of
we go.
eating this lobster.
Take it.
Oh, thanks.
No,
Oh,
you
you need that bit. You need that bit. That's the most
Oh,
important bit.
I've ruined it.
You haven't ruined it. So how do
my God.
when you're on tour, you've obviously toured some big cities. Is there a city that stands out for you as like a huge food thing that you're like, actually, do you know what? I'm not just gonna sit in my hotel. I'm not gonna go out on the lash. I am going to eat some food.
Moscow?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really? I've never been there.
It was, we went there and the maitre d', I suppose, or the head waiter or whatever he is,
That's so nice.
said, actually, if you're interested in a bit of bear,
Bear, you're joking.
up.
we've got some bear in.
No.
Yeah.
What? In what form? Like roasted?
Like a big
What,
hairy
like a steak?
thing.
Not a steak, bear
Just-
steak.
Yeah, a lump, I guess.
A lump.
It may have come out looking slightly
Bear,
like that.
bear lumps. Bear lumps in
lumps.
Moscow. I went to Japan and had shark fin soup.
Oh, have you done it?
Yeah,
naughty.
without me realising that's what we were
Yeah.
being given,
Yeah.
and it was actually disgusting. It was like so gelatinous. It was like gelatinous. It was a bit like eating jellied eel.
Oh,
and
no, I
it's
can
like also
imagine.
you realise the whole thing is so wrong.
Yeah.
I was really unhappy.
Subs, please.
You're on tour. Is there a best catering internationally?
I mean, Italy
Like-
is always amazing.
Oh, really?
Like to the point where it's almost too good. Like I'll never forget like one of the first gigs that the Pipettes ever did in Rome, and I was only like 18, and so I didn't really understand about like Italian, like the primi Conti business. I didn't know anything about it.
So like knowing, so by
I
that you mean?
didn't realise that like pasta was the first course. I was like, oh, this is my
Yeah.
dinner. Amazing. I'll just eat this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then realised that there was like meat and loads of potato and loads of veg and then like 4 puddings and limoncello and grappa at the end and like lashings of red wine.
It's great.
And then I had to put on that stupid Pipettes dress and like like literally was like a bowling ball on stage, just like trying to do these ridiculous dances, and it was so awful.
I can't.
This is the flaw in this concept.
Yeah, I know.
You got to actually eat your food.
They were a great band. I'm sorry.
We had our
they
moments, the highs and lows.
They were.
Yeah, but anyway.
I mean, I think what a lot of people don't know about you is that you had a sort of, even though you worked on your first album, which was critically acclaimed, you then went off and worked with some of the biggest artists in the world, most notably Mark Ronson.
Yeah, that was post Pipettes business.
Yeah.
No, it didn't do me any harm in a lot of ways, although it would be nice to not always like be referenced in the press as ex-Pipette Rose Dougall when I put out 3 solo albums that no one seems to give a shit about.
This is one of the things I'm always interested in. A rider.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever done like a rider like excellent or a rider fail?
I've never really been in a position to like make like kind of diva-ish requests on a rider, other than asking for slightly better quality vodka rather than just like
Schmannel.
or like no, even like bargain bin like supermarket vodka, which was a bad phase.
All you're gonna do is chuck Coke in it anyway.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, I don't actually want to eat before a gig. Like I think that's like in reference to my own memory. It's like it's actually not a good idea. I don't really want to eat anything.
It's not.
I just need to have a couple of drinks and a couple of fags, and that's it.
Go on,
Really,
Graham.
I mean, a local delicacy.
I bet you found, because you were vegan for a while.
And the thing is, I became more unhealthy and fatter.
Yeah.
Well, not that I'm ever fat or
It's
anything.
because all you ate was chips and pitta, from what you told me.
Yeah, chip sandwiches, and I just went to Silesia in Muswell Hill all the time
Love that place.
and had falafel and chips.
I mean, that's a great shout also.
I wasn't good at the preparation for that sort of diet. For a long time, there was no sort of drinking before showtime.
Yeah, that's
Since
good. See, I'm interested in
1992,
that, actually.
when
All
it
kicked off.
it got out of hand, really, that sort of thing.
But that's great, because it goes to show that it's a professional thing. You're in a band.
I hated it. I hated not being able to have a drink.
Yeah.
It meant I felt sort of self-conscious and anxious for 2 hours. When I just wanted to look cool and feel cool.
Yeah, and like
I
shake
was
it
just,
all off.
It was just a struggle. There was something about maybe 2 or 3
This is about pitching
bottles
it
of
right.
beer. Then it seems to be okay.
Yeah.
And actually may just improve your playing.
But
But the thing is, if you go to 4 or 5,
that's when
then
it all
it
goes.
starts to go the other way.
I mean, we were joking because actually I accidentally said Rose, but there was a moment where you were called
Yeah, I know,
Rose.
that was like my nickname in the Pipettes. And actually, I think there was like a weird like comic strip that some fans made of me, where I was like, everyone was worried that I was an alcoholic, which, to be honest, could be true, because at that point I was drinking a lot. In fact, the first day I met you.
This is the first time we met.
Ever.
The first time I met you was at the Buffalo Bar in Islington. But I remember meeting you and I asked for like...
No, you sent somebody over.
No, I
Rose
didn't
wants
send
to
anyone.
meet you.
That's bullshit. There's
And
no
I
way
was
I would have
taken.
done that.
What?
I did not. I was told the opposite. I was told Graham wants to meet you.
No, somebody is lying to us both.
Okay, well, whatever. But
Do you want to meet Rose? I was like, yeah, fine.
But yeah, fine, if I must.
Let's go.
But I remember like bullying you into getting me a triple brandy and
You
coke.
didn't bully me.
Well,
We want a drink?
yeah, I was like, yeah, triple brandy and coke.
Triple?
Which is like, that's what I used to drink.
Let's maybe worried about you drinking a bottle of rosé a night.
No, but I used to drink like a bottle of brandy a night in the back of the bus and smoke jarums and listen to Anne Briggs and go, I'm going to be a real artist one day instead of a stupid polka dot.
What were you, about
pop shit.
17?
Yeah, it's like really depressing. Anyway, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore.
We had a brief chat.
Had a brief chat.
And I thought, what a lovely girl, but she's trouble.
Yeah. Now look.
I still feel the same.
Have you ever like done a real shit one and
No.
never turned up?
Although you nearly did when you got poisoned by oysters.
Oh yes.
Oh, we did a total mess up in 1992 or something when And then was it Suede supported us, and me and Alex went on a pub trip. What's it called?
Pub crawl.
A pub trip.
A pub trip, a pub crawl. We went on holiday for an afternoon and ended up too drunk to play, basically. And Suede were the greatest thing. We got really told off.
But what about
So they told you, Suede's told you off?
No, our
they
new
wouldn't have to
manager
know.
did. They were supporting us, I think, and they were fantastic, and we were just
awful.
I think David said you might as
But
well
what
fucking
happened with
go
the
home.
oyster?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, that was
in the park.
Scotland. What's that? Is it the Hotel Montmartre?
Yeah, Montmartre.
Montmartre. And next to it was this lovely little sort of seafood shack. But everyone seemed to have thought it was a good idea to go there for lunch. And I went there and had, the old beetroot, mackerel,
Love the
sort of salad,
pickled stuff.
which is a bit nice.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I'll have some oysters then. Okay. So
Did you
I
eat
had
an
some
oysters up to then?
Yeah.
Occasionally, yeah.
I was up for oysters.
Yeah.
But I had a bad one.
Oh no.
And a bunch of us were just arriving and everything. And I was sort of saying hi to everybody, and I was like, oh God, I feel really weird by about 4 o'clock. So it only took about 3 hours for this feeling to come upon me. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going upstairs, I feel really peculiar. So I went up the stairs and fainted mid stairway and sort of slid down. Do you know Vienna by Ultravox? You know the video at the end where
Vienna.
when he gets shot and he slides down the stairs? And I was like that, only I was having a fit at the same time. Because whenever I faint, I have this kind of fit, which is scary to people.
Oh, it's awful.
And then what did you overhear in your adult state? Oh,
Graham's
from
having one of
Damon.
his
Funny
moments.
ones.
You're just like...
And I'm just like that. But there was a nurse about, and I went upstairs, both ends.
Both ends.
And then Alex had smoked a cigarette in his hotel room, and set all the alarms off. So all of the hotel had to go out front.
Evacuated.
And at the same time, I was being carried
Wheeled
out
out on a gurney.
Wheeled out in front of everybody to the hospital to get a bit of a couple of bags of saline in the arm.
Saline and beef. So thank you so much.
Thank you, that was delicious.
So delicious. That was such a surprise.
But you still did the gig.
Very glad to know. You still did the gig though.
I had a manager there going, a minion of the manager, going, do you think you're going to be able to do it?
You're like,
and I'm still sitting there with a digestive and a cup of tea and a saline in my arm. Could I have another one of those lovely Lucky Saints, please? And I just thought, well, I've got no choice. I stood up and I felt, yeah, I feel okay.
Were you okay
and
after
then
the gig?
got into the van and went, and I think Snow Patrol were on, and they extended.
Oh, that was it. To add insult to injury.
No, they were nice.
I actually
I know they're nice.
I love
They extended their set a little bit to accommodate me.
Being
and
late.
apparently there was
I'm
like
actually crying.
this whole thing on the screen of the van I was in.
What? It's like a live
They were
tracking.
putting
They
it
made it
up.
part of the
What are
show.
you kidding?
And I arrived
That's
just in
amazing.
time. And I
Played a
think,
and
although I wasn't drinking at the time, I slammed down a Heineken, went on stage, and just and I even jumped up and down.
Did you? And you were fine? Did nothing came out? I suppose it's all gone by that
Nothing
point.
came out. It was all gone. I was an empty vessel.
Like, I know the answer to this question. It's pudding time. Are we going to get the menu?
I'm not interested.
Great.
I'm too full.
I'd like to have a look at what's available, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm quite full.
I just know us.
Yeah,
and I know that it's time
flourish
for a
in pudding time.
We want to go to the bar and have a digestive.
A digestive. It's not digestive. It's digestive.
Who cares by this stage?
Come on,
It's not a digestive.
Digestive. Digestive.
Why do we not like pudding?
It's just,
We're just bored
it's
by
just
this
one
point.
Bit, yeah, I just want to go. I want to go elsewhere.
I've had a lot of
I've
flavours.
enjoyed all my flavours.
Yeah, that's all our flavours.
The thing is, just that big old swathe of sweetness.
I
It's not
know.
always the best.
Also, I'm stuffed.
I'm so full.
I'm stuffed to the gills.
It's been delicious. I've loved it.
Can I just say, this has gone way better than I ever did.
Oh,
I mean, like,
great.
it's like having my family around the table and doing something that I'm so delighted with. And Leonie,
Thanks, Leonie.
I mean, Leonie, who's like literally been and Baz, who's been managing all this behind the scenes.
I'm all left out.
Yes, sorry.
Wonderful work.
But yeah, we've had our first messy lunch.
It's been a bloody delight.
I think
It wasn't that messy.
it wasn't that well.
There's still time.
But I
Some
think
of the stories were.
we're going to go and have
thank you.
I mean, I definitely am going to have a drink at the bar.
It is yesterday.
Steve.
Okay.
But I'm not interested in purd. You guys have been amazing.
Thanks.
I feel like
Thanks
there's
so much
nothing
for
else to
having
say.
I've said it all. I've said too much as it is.
Is there an out? That's fine. Just that. Shut down.